Tako kot smo torej obljubili, se nam bo pridružil režiser pravkar videnega filma Lunana, in sicer Pawo Choyning Dorji, ki ga pozdravljamo. Tule se nam bo torej pridružil in seveda vas vse vabimo k kakšnemu vprašanju. Naj vam ne bo nerodno zastaviti vprašanja, tudi v slovenskem jeziku bomo že prevedli. Tako da, welcome, and of course I hope you hear us and see us. Welcome, we are waving from Ljubljana.
Hello, hearing you loud and clear, seeing you very clearly. Thank you so much for screening the film and having me virtually.
Thank you, of course, for joining us, and once again, congratulations for a beautiful film.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Before we start with the questions from the audience, maybe just the first question about this unique atmosphere that you had in Lunana. How did you actually chose to film there? How complicated was that, and why was it so important for you to be in the authentic place with authentic people?
As everyone here knows, I come from Bhutan, and Bhutan is supposedly one of the happiest countries in the world. But our kind of happiness is very different from, say, the rest of the world. Will you be translating, or can I just go on?
You can go on, and I will do a short translation afterwards.
Okay. So, coming from Bhutan, we are a country which is supposedly happy, but being a poor country, so many of our people are leaving Bhutan, seeking happiness elsewhere. And I was trying to see why are these people leaving Bhutan? And most of these people are leaving Bhutan to go to Western developed countries, basically the light. So, I wanted to create a story where the protagonist is taken to the other end of the spectrum. If he's seeking happiness in the most urban, the most illuminated place, then let's take him to the most remote. Let's take him into the darkness. And through this story, I wanted to explore if we did indeed, can we discover what we seek in the light, in the shadows? Maybe you translate that first.
Of course. Torej pravi, da je Bhutan znan kot najsrečnejša država na svetu, hkrati pa je danes sreča zelo relativen pojem in kot pravi, mnogi zapuščajo državo ravno zaradi revščine, kljub temu, da naj bi bili najbogatejši, pa je revščina prisotna in ta bogatost, ki je v duhu, jih pogosto, predvsem mlade, odpelje iz države. Pravi pa hkrati, da je iskal, kako bi na eni strani povezal torej to bogatstvo, ki ga iščemo v razsvetljenem, urbanem svetu, in ga hkrati poskušal dati v neko temno dolino. Lunana namreč pomeni v prevodu temna dolina, kjer lahko ljudje najdejo srečo, kljub temu, da je tam revščina in kljub temu, da je znana kot temna.
And for me to create the story, the authenticity of the location was very, very important. Because Lunana, as even the title is Lunana. The village of Lunana is one of the characters, one of the key characters in this story, and I wanted to be as authentic as possible. I think we have to remember why we make films. In my country, the word we use for art, creation of art, is actually translates to as illusion, falsehood. And we say that we create illusion and falsehood because it connects us to reality and the truth. So, film has such an important, responsibility to connect people to the truth. So to make this as authentic as possible for the audience, I, as the filmmaker, my crew, my cast, I wanted all of us to go through the actual journey of going to Lunana, shooting in Lunana, living there. And it was incredibly difficult. We're shooting at about almost 5,000 meters above sea level. We had no electricity. We shot the entire film on one camera, no lights. We had enough solar power. The whole film that you just watched was made on solar power. So, I used to always tell my crew, if the film fails and no one watches it, the audience don't enjoy it, we can take pride in saying that we made a carbon negative film. But I wanted all of them to go through the journey of the protagonist, go through the hardship, so that that can relate to the film that you are seeing and you are experiencing.
Thank you. Ja, torej, kot pravi, seveda je želel samo vas, Lunana, nekako vklopiti v film kot enega izmed glavnih protagonistov. Pravi, da je v butanskem jeziku umetnost oziroma ustvarjanje filmov pogosto prevedena kot ustvarjanje iluzije, zato je želel pravzaprav s tem filmom ravno to storiti. Kot pravi, smo filmarji odgovorni za to, da prinašamo resnico. Vse skupaj pa je bilo posneto na 5000 metrih nadmorske višine, kjer ni elektrike, kjer so pravzaprav uporabljali zgolj sončno svetlobo, z eno kamero so se skupaj snemali brez luči in dejal je tudi, če bi bil film neuspešen, bi bil pa ogljično nevtralen.
Most of the actors you are seeing are actually, first timers. The children up there are playing themselves. So I think I would not be able to get this if I shot it somewhere else. It had to be there. Pemzam, that the little girl you see, she is playing herself. Her real name is Pemzam. She does not have a mother. She has an alcoholic father. What you see is what her real life is. I wanted that for the audience.
Thank you. Ja, torej, kot smo slišali, Pemzam je dejansko res igrala samo sebe, je brez mame, oče je alkoholik. Torej, vse skupaj, kar smo videli, je zelo avtentično, le redki so bili tisti igrani momenti, predvsem kar se tiče glavnega igralca. Preostali protagonisti so naturščiki, ki so prvič in najbrž tudi edinkrat zaigrali v filmu. Maybe I have to ask you about this collaboration. On one side you had, of course, actor, you had Uyen as an actor, and on the other hand you had all these debutants. How was it to combine those two worlds? You as a filmmaker and of course them as being authentic.
Actually, even Ugen, he is making his first debut here in this film. So all the actors are appearing for the first time, on a film. And the case is like this, not because I chose it, but because in Bhutan we really don't have professional actors. But as I was saying, to keep it as authentic as possible, I think, when Lunana was screening in different places, people asked me, why did you only have, one boy in the classroom? And I said, well, that's the classroom I inherited. Those are the only 5 children up there. So I had to make do with what I got. But I think it was amazing, because all of them are playing themselves. And I must remind you, they are not just making their screen debut. These are such authentic, pure individuals. They had never even seen light bulbs. They had that toothbrush scene that you see was the first time they are actually tasting toothpaste. I wanted to keep it as authentic as possible because then, I think there is a magical place when you make films, when performance of an actor and the authenticity of the characters meet. And at that point, you are given something very magical. And I think it is a wonderful experience, not only for the filmmakers, but also for the audience to be drawn into this world.
Of course. Ja, torej občinstvo je definitivno doživelo nekaj posebnega, ker smo lahko videli odročen svet, ki ga najbrž sami po sebi ne bi nikoli obiskali. Kot nam je povedal režiser Pawo, pravi, da je Ugen ni profesionalni igralec, zanje je bila to prav tako prva velika vloga, ker v Bhutanu enostavno ni profesionalnih igralcev. Kot je tudi nekako povedal, so bili vsi ob svojem debutanskem nastopu izjemno čisti in avtentični, ker takšni so. Tista scena z umivanjem zob in zobno pasto je bila dejansko avtentična. Prvič so videli, kako si zobno pasto lahko človek umije zobe, hkrati pa je to prineslo tisto čarovnijo. Na eni strani torej avtentičnost, takšni so, na drugi strani pa neka filmska scena, kjer so morali nastopati. In tukaj sta se v bistvu združila dva svetova, ko so nastopali, češ umivamo zobe pred filmom oziroma pred filmsko kamero, hkrati pa takšni so in niso niti bili vešči igranja. Kakšno vprašanje strani publike? Aha, izvolite. Vam še mikrofon prinesemo. We'll have the questions from the audience.
Sure.
Hello. This is not the question, but my great thanks for such beautiful film to show us the place, the jewel of the world in Himalaya, which we will never see if you don't show us this and beautiful landscape and the people, and to the courage to show us that this little place of the world. Many thanks and congratulations, and for living later also the success. Thank you.
Thank you.
Vam tukaj pa najlepša hvala, ker izbirate čudovite filme, da jih vidimo.
Najlepša hvala vam, da se odzovete in da imate takšne komentarje oziroma da tako doživljate te filme. Najlepša hvala. Pawo, maybe we can ask you about the place. How did you find Lunana? Was it important for you because of having this school that is the most remote school in the planet? Or what was the main trigger that you decided to shoot there, to have Lunana also in the title of the movie?
As I was mentioning earlier, if the motivation to leave your homeland, to migrate to another country, is to seek happiness from modernization, from the light, to create this story, I wanted to go to the very opposite end, and that was the remotest place in Bhutan. And I journeyed to many, many different places to look for this place. And it's quite sad. The reach of modernization has reached so deep into Bhutan that the only place that was left untouched by modernization was this little village called Lunana. And even the word Lunana, in my language, it translates to as the dark valley. It is so remote that it is said that even the light cannot reach there. And, where else in the world will you find a place like this, where there is no road, where there is still no electricity, where there is no telephone network, there's no internet, and I wanted to shoot the film there and share the story of this place with the world to show you all that even in a place like this, one can find, the beauty. One can actually find what one seeks in the modern urban places in this place. And that sometimes, having no internet, having no electricity, it makes you more open, more in tune with what is actually around you.
Thank you. Ja, lahko smo slišali torej, da je res ta modernizacija bila tista, ki ga je pripeljala, da je iskal podobno oziroma takšno šolo po vsem Bhutanu, ampak modernizacija je šla dejansko tako globoko, da je Lunana eden redkih, če ne edini kraj, kjer lahko govorimo še o izoliranosti in odmaknjenosti. Kot pravi, je pravzaprav res tam lažje nekako doživeti oziroma doseči srečo, zato je tudi želel to zgodbo deliti z nami, nam prikazati, kako poteka življenje nekjer, kjer ni cest, kjer ni telefona, kjer ni omrežij, kjer ni interneta, in mislim, da mu je to odlično uspelo. Še kakšno vprašanje strani publike? Aha, izvolite.
Jaz moram reči, da prvič sem slišala takole definicijo učitelja. Zdaj, če sem si prav zapomnila, učitelj je tisti, ki se dotika prihodnosti, nekaj podobnega. Mislim, čist neverjetno je to. V celoti pa me je prevzela ta ideja iskanja sreče. Namreč ob tem čistem, ganljivem življenju sem se spomnila, kako v tem našem razvitem svetu, ki ga mi tako občudujemo in sanjamo, da bi bili Amerika ali pa da bi bili Švica, govorimo danes o tem, kako veliko mladih ljudi naredi samomor. A veste, zavedla sem se, kako smo zavozili, to zahodno civilizacijo, ki mlademu človeku več ne predstavlja nobene vrednosti, ki bi jo v življenju še sploh mogel najti. Prav lepa hvala.
Hvala vam za mnenje in hkrati tudi vprašanje. The question is related to the profession of a teacher. For us it's something unique to be able to speak about it as about the person who is touching the future. Why was it for you so important to stress out the influence that the teacher has on the society, especially in that small village as Lunana?
Well, I always tell people that Ugyen could have been anything, anyone. He could have been a doctor. He could have been someone who has been sent up to measure the melting glaciers. But I made him a teacher because I am a filmmaker who makes films because, one, I want to share the stories of Bhutan with the world, but also I want to preserve the stories of Bhutan in my film so that future generations of Bhutanese can know what our country went through. And, as I said earlier, I made this film because so many Bhutanese are seeking happiness elsewhere. But then the number one profession in Bhutan, which is always having many, many people quit, resign, and leave their job, is the teaching. The teachers. So every year, it is the teaching industry where that has the most number of people quitting. And I think that is a very, very dangerous, it's a dangerous trend, because as I mentioned in the film, a teacher is someone who touches the future. And when so many teachers quit every year, it is almost like a chunk of a future is getting lost. And I wanted to show that in this film, preserve the story for the younger Bhutanese, but also to send a message across to the teachers to remind them that they have an important responsibility, that they touch the future. And I think it did, the film had an impact because many teachers in Bhutan got inspired to remain as teachers. And furthermore, because of the film traveling all around the world, many teachers from around the world have written and have expressed interest to go and teach in Lunana.
That's so great to hear. Ja, torej, če bo še med nami kakšen prostovoljec, ki bi se podal na 8-dnevno hojo do Lunane, nas išče. Definitivno pravi režiser, da bi lahko Ugyena predstavil kot zdravnika, da lahko bi ga kot nekoga, ki meri taljenje ledenikov, ampak se je odločil za učitelja, predvsem zato, ker rad deli zgodbe iz Bhutana, hkrati pa jih rad ohranja tudi za prihodnje generacije in pravi, da je to poklic, ki ga največ ljudi v Bhutanu zapusti. Torej, ne glede na to, da so šolani oziroma da so učitelji, pa se največkrat odločijo za to, da ne bodo več poučevali in tega ga je strah, kajti na ta način se izgublja del znanja in zato je tudi želel to film posvetiti poklicu učitelja. Hkrati pa je spoznal, da je ta film imel vpliv tako v Bhutanu, veliko ljudi je reklo, da je dobilo nekakšno potrditev svojega poslanstva, hkrati pa tudi po svetu mislim, da se je marsikdo izmed učiteljev prepoznal in videl svojo pomembnost oziroma pomembnost poklica, ki ga opravlja. Kakšno vprašanje še za? Aha, izvolite.
You have shown us also what means the value respect. I think that's one of the message of the film.
Thank you. In a way, yes, I think in Bhutan, that is a very important quality. Also, in a very subtle way, I am also trying to put across the message of interdependence. But we Bhutanese, we really believe that everything that happens in life is interdependent on other phenomena and other individuals. and thus out of that is born respect for each other. And that is also a message that I hoped to put across with this film.
Ja, torej gre za nekakšno mešanico med spoštovanjem in pa med medsebojno odgovornostjo, ki jo je definitivno vključeval ta film. Next question.
A simple question. Have the people from the village already seen the film?
Yes, they have. Because, this film has had an incredible journey. And in a large part, it is thanks to audiences like yourself. I have already touched upon how difficult it was to make this film. Also coming from Bhutan, where we don't even have proper cinemas to show this film. But then it is because of the support of audiences like yourself that have really taken this film from the world's most remote school all the way, all over the world. It has gone to the Oscars because of the support of the audience. And when a film like this does that well internationally, of course, domestically, then there is interest for the film as well. So this film has inspired the whole country of Bhutan, including the students of Lunana, So once the film had gone to the Oscars, the film was shown, and they had special screenings in the village. They had brought up generators just to show the film. And, I'm so honored that within this film, we can, their lives, their stories, their hopes, their dreams are now, shared with the rest of the world.
Ja, torej, film so videli tudi v vasi Lunana. Kot pravi, je pot filma zelo nenavadna, namreč film že kar nekaj let potuje po svetu, bil je tudi nominiran za tujejezičnega Oskarja in ravno občinstvo po vsem svetu mu je dalo ta krila, zato da kljub temu, da ga je bilo težko posneti, je bil film prepoznavan mednarodno in seveda kasneje tudi v domačem kraju oziroma v Bhutanu. Je pa izjemno ponosen na to, da je film služil kot inspiracija tako učencem kot tudi učiteljem in da je v Lunani bila projekcija, zaradi katere so prinesli generator v vas in seveda omogočili vaščanom, da so lahko film pogledali tako, kot si ga lahko pogledajo povsod drugje po svetu. Kljub temu, da ne samo v Lunani, tudi v drugih krajih v Bhutanu nimajo tovrstnih kinematografov. Torej je bila res unikatna priložnost. Še kakšno vprašanje? Smo še kaj kakšnega zgrešili? Okay, maybe I have to ask you about, did I remember it right, Normu, about the yak. Was that also something you inherited in the classroom, or was this a part of imagination?
I am a filmmaker that is always very inspired by, real stories. And every aspect of the stories that you see in this film are based and inspired by real events. You could say the catalyst, the spark for this film was about 4 years ago. I was having lunch with a teacher, and this teacher had been posted in a very remote school, similar to Lunana. And he was telling me this very interesting story of how he lived up there for many years. And he said, oh, it was above the tree line. I had no firewood to make my fire. And every evening, I had to hike up this mountain to where all the yaks lived. And I had to collect yak dung and bring it down. And I got tired of walking up every day. So one day, I decided to make it easier. So I caught a yak and I tied the yak in the classroom, and I taught my class with a yak in the classroom. And when I heard this story, my background is I'm a photographer. At once, I had this image, as you saw in the film, as we recreated in the film, of a yak in a classroom with the students in it and the teacher teaching the class. And I thought, wow, that would look so visually so beautiful. And I think this would make an amazing film, and that was the spark for it. So yes, a yak in the classroom was something that actually happened. This is an interesting story that you all will find, funny. The yak that was used in the movie, he is a yak that saves people. He's like the ambulance of Lunana. So every time people get sick and people have altitude sickness, this yak, his real name is Naka, he would basically carry people on his back down to lower altitudes. And, unfortunately, he died because of old age. But I'm very happy that all of you get to see him forever in this film now.
Thank you. Ja, torej, kot smo slišali, je bila inspiracija nekako resnična zgodba. Pred 4 leti je bil na kosilu z enim izmed učiteljem, ki ga je prav tako čakala pot v eno izmed odročnih vasi, in je povedal, da je tam, ko je delal že vrsto let v vasi, kjer ni bilo lesa, moral vsako jutro na vrh hriba po jake, zato da jih je pripeljal nazaj v dolino. Hkrati pa pravi, da je se nekega dne spomnil briljantne ideje, zakaj bi hodil gor in dol, če lahko tega jaka privežemo v učilnico. In poučujem, hkrati je pa jak v učilnici. Tako da je vse skupaj temeljilo na resnični zgodbi, ki se je tako močno vtisnila režiserju v spomin, da enostavno fotografija več ni šla iz glave. Je pa tale jak, ki smo ga videli v filmu, bil reševalno vozilo v Lunani. Torej, če je bil nekdo, če je zbolel, če je imel težavo z nadmorsko višino, so ga prav na tem jaku poslali potem nižje oziroma v dolino, kjer so ga zdravniško oskrbeli. Jak je sicer zaradi starosti pred kratkim poginil, ampak hkrati je dočakal svojo večno slavo v tem filmu. In na to je tudi Pawo izjemno ponosen. Če bo kakšno zadnje vprašanje, če ne, pa mislim, da se bomo že lahko zahvalili. Maybe just for your new film. We already know that you have a new film, and we are waiting for it. Is it hard to talk about your first movie while you're already thinking and doing all the promotion on the second one?
Actually, today when we started having this Q&A, it's been a while since I talked about Lunana. So my memory is just getting refreshed to talk about Lunana. But, I have to thank Slovenia, for both Lunana and for my new film. You all have been amazing supporters. I know that both films screened at the festivals there, and our distributor for Lunana has been so amazing. I have received numerous invitations, but unfortunately, it is very difficult for me to travel because I carry a Bhutanese passport. It takes very long to get visas all the time. But I hope that one day, I will be able to come visit beautiful Slovenia in person, and thank all of you for the support. As I said, it is the support of the audience that inspires the artist to create. So a big part of the second film is because of the support you all gave this film, and continue to give this film support. Still, after all these years, I'm doing Zoom session Q&As with the audience in Slovenia. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you, of course, for your amazing work that you did and you're still doing. Torej, ja, kot pravi Pawo, je seveda vesel, da se je lahko znova pogovarjal o filmu Lunana, kajti trenutno je že zunaj njegov nov film The Monk and the Gun, ki je bil prav tako med širšimi nominiranci za Oskarja. Čakamo ga seveda tudi v Kinodvoru in smo prepričani, da ga bomo kmalu tudi pričakali. Pravi pa, da je seveda vesel, ko lahko o filmu, ki ga je pred leti posnel, še vedno govori, in se zahvaljuje občinstvu za to, da lahko na podlagi tega svojega debitanskega filma še naprej ustvarja, in to filme, ki jih gledamo po vsem svetu. Upa pa, da bo nekoč tudi z Bhutanskim potnim listom lahko prišel v Slovenijo in se zahvalil občinstvu, ki mu je že na festivalih dalo kakšno nagrado. Namreč tudi film Lunana je dobil nagrado občinstva v Ljubljani. Mislim, da se lahko še enkrat zahvalimo našemu režiserju, našemu današnjemu gostu za odličen film in pa za odličen pogovor. We would like to thank you again for your beautiful film, for a great conversation, and of course looking forward to see you and meet you in Ljubljana.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Pleasure.
Thank you. All the best.
Thank you.
See you
Thank you
next
so
time.
much. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.